Hi, I'm Mickey Zeta. It's Wednesday night. I'm glad to have you here with me. I'm going to talk tonight about one of my most favorite statements. I learned it from Dr. John Maxwell. If you're not familiar with Dr. Maxwell, you need to go to the library and check out some of his books because he is an amazing teacher. He is one of the leading gurus, I'm going to say, one of the leading instructors of personal growth and leadership. He is a huge leadership trainer. And here's one of the reasons why. What he said to me was, Mickey, you don't attract who you want, you attract who you are. Now think about that. You don't attract who you want, you attract who you are. At that time, I was building a network marketing business, and I was building a nice size business. I was working hard. I probably was working about 60 hours a week. I was doing everything I was supposed to do, but I was not earning much money. I hardly could pay my bills, yet I was working full time, and I thought, what the heck is going on? Well, then I realized I was attracting who I was. I was not attracting the people, the high money kind of earner people. I wasn't doing that. I was attracting me. And what was I looking for then? I was looking for personal growth. I was looking for a way to make some money, but I don't think at that point I believed I could earn six figures. I don't, and that happens. But what I'm talking to you about tonight is that my team was groups of people who were looking for personal growth. They were looking to improve their lives, and they got that. That's one of the best things about network marketing is you really do learn personal growth. So let's go back to you don't attract who you want, you attract who you are. So I looked at my team and I realized, yeah, that's true. I was attracting me. And I liked those people. That was great. I just wasn't going to get rich doing that business. And neither were they. So then I started thinking about life. I have friends who married alcoholics. And when it got to the point where they just couldn't survive, the marriage was not going to work, I've never lost it. Okay, hey, I'm back. Sorry, I lost internet. So then, so my friend who was married to an alcoholic, she divorced, and a little while later, she got married again. And guess what? He was an alcoholic. And he didn't work. He didn't have a job. In fact, she said to him, you are a luxury I can't afford. I love that line. You're a luxury I can't afford. If you've got a spouse or you're dating somebody who's a luxury you can't afford, odds are really good that they have a personality disorder or they are alcoholic or they have some kind of an addiction, because that goes hand in hand. So pay attention to that, because let me use my life as an example. I was raised in a loving and caring home. My parents were terrific. My brothers were dyslexic. And we're talking about the 50s and 60s when there was very little known about dyslexia. All three of my brothers were dyslexic, and all four of us girls were taught to make excuses for them. We never talked about things that were going on at home. We did not certainly talk about the fact that they were getting into drugs as they were teenagers. Don't talk about that for sure. We were taught to overlook the toys that they broke and the dolls and the money that they stole. We were taught to overlook that because they had dyslexia, because their lives were difficult. My parents were trying to protect them. In the process, they taught me and my other sisters that men can get away with poor behavior toward women, and there's nothing we can do about it. So now I'm 18 years old. We make brilliant decisions when we're 18. So I decided I was going to get married. And the man that I was attracted to was like my brothers. He did not have dyslexia, but he had issues. And my attraction to him, his energy and my energy meshed, because I was trained to enable him, to help him behave poorly and make it all right. I was the kind of woman that would allow him to live his life the way he wanted to, and I would take second best. Or I might have been third or fourth or fifth. In fact, at one point, that was a game he played. We hadn't been married long. And he would say, where am I in your life? And I would say, well, you're number one. I love you. I'm so happy to be married to you. And he would say, yeah, well, you're like number 6. And then he'd name off the 5 things that were ahead of me. So why didn't I run? Why didn't I get it? But I didn't, because I was already pre-programmed from when I was a kid that behavior was okay. So I continued that. And so the emotional abuse, financial control, all that seemed normal to me. And then the physical abuse started. And I made excuses, and I hid my bruises, and I didn't tell anybody because that's how I was raised. So it wasn't my fault. I did not want to live in an abusive relationship. I didn't deserve the behavior that I experienced, but I also didn't leave, and I stayed married to him for 34 years. Once I got out, I realized, I talked about my friend who married the alcoholics. Well, if I didn't change me, if I didn't change my energy, I was going to attract another abuser, or I was going to be attracted to another abuser because our energies meshed, because he was looking for somebody that would put up with his behavior, and I was looking for somebody that I could enable, that I could make excuses for, that I could feel comfortable. It's not normal, but it feels normal. So it's not your fault that you're doing this. It's something that's programmed in your head. And it's proof that we do attract who we are. I didn't want another abuser. And I knew that's what I'd get if I didn't change me. And you've heard me say over and over, if we don't change, nothing changes. I'm serious about that. So if you are in an abusive relationship, or you've left an abusive relationship recently, and the guys that you date, or maybe it's been years ago, it doesn't matter how long, if you haven't changed who you are, you're going to end up with another abuser. John Maxwell's statement is absolutely true. We don't attract who we want. We attract who we are. So change yourself. You've got this covered. You can do it. If you listen to Surviving Abuse podcasts, you'll listen to other women who have done exactly what I'm talking about. They didn't want to be attracted to any more abusers, so they changed themselves. They got out and they changed themselves. And if you've listened to my story, you know that's what I've done too. So I'm going to encourage you, go to survivingabusenetwork.com, survivingabusenetwork.com, and download my podcast right there on my website. And you also could listen to more live videos, and I've got some really good articles there. I write for medium.com, but they're all posted right there on my website. Download the podcast. Listen to them. There's 114, I think, podcasts. So choose a name, choose a title that appeals to you, and listen to it. I've got so much information there. I've got solo shows where I just do some personal growth teaching, and I've got shows where I interview women who have lived in abuse and have gotten out, who have created wonderful, authentic, safe, and healthy lives. So that's it. Remember, you don't attract who you want. You attract who you are. If you don't like who you're with and you look at your friends and you think, man, I don't want to be like them anymore, then change yourself. You can do it. It's called personal growth. Check out survivingabusenetwork.com. You'll learn a lot right there. Thanks for being here. I'll be back on Sunday night Wine with Mickey, 7:30 Eastern Time. Look forward to seeing you. Thanks a bunch. Appreciate you being here.